Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It's Mike Lepre, King Michael. This is World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, The Wolf. It is Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. I am sweating. I'm in the new place. I got Kobe with me. It's as they would say in wrestling, pandemonium. Joining me as always, Joey Paranormal. What's up, Joe?
Not much. Yourself?
Like I said, I'm trying to work out the new digs. I got Kobe Bobo Bear. Here, come up here. Come on. Can you get up on my lap so I can see your head? Do you want to do it? Don't eat my stuff. All right, never mind. He's shy. He'll growl. He'll growl though. So how's things, Joe?
Not too bad. Started new classes at CC. Midterms just passed. I got straight A's so far. Living the dream.
Attaboy. Lots been going on with wrestling.
Oh my God, so much.
Dare I say? So it seems like it was a perfect time for us to start a podcast on wrestling, because the minute we did, it's like wrestling paid attention, and it's looked like it's heading towards some, like, we could have some really good matches coming up, some really a really good future with wrestling. It all just depends on how they handle it,
Yeah. So I was actually looking at I think it might be Dynamite tonight, but there's you remember Bobby Fish from NXT?
Of course, yep.
This dude, he's got a match tonight with CM Punk. Imagine being Bobby Fish right now. You were kind of an afterthought on NXT. He had some really nice matches. I think he fought for the title against Finn Balor, but really wasn't pushed. You jump ship to another promotion. Now you're facing CM Punk on live TV. It's just fantastic. Yep. It's what a time to be alive. He wrestled Daniel Bryanson. It's insane. What a time to be a wrestling fan.
I tell you what, Bobby Fish is very well versed in MMA type action. So,
oh yeah,
it's not like the guy can't go. The guy can definitely go.
No, but if you listen to WWE, you might think something else.
No, it's true. So before we get into the show, I just wanted to show you what in my mind, I won. I am the new Intercontinental Champion. I didn't know if you knew that, Joe.
Oh, no, I had no idea.
Yeah, and I'm taking on anybody who wants to try to test me for the strap, Joe. Front lawn, pick a lawn. I'll be there, and I'll take care of business. Just want to make sure I let everybody know that. And I hate it when they hold the belt up wrong. So
they always do it too.
They do it like they'll put it inverse like this, and then they grab it. And it's like, how do you not know? I would always look at it, look at the crowd, and then I'd raise it.
Yeah,
right. In slow motion, so that way I never got it wrong, and I would be a great Intercontinental Champion, Joe. So let's go over stuff. What do you want to review first? Because look, here's what we've been doing. We've been breaking down what's going on with the WWE. We haven't been touching on AEW that much. We've been letting them get going. I think kind of letting them build up some steam. I like what they're doing with the whole thing. We basically have been reviewing the WWE, and quite honestly, we've been like telling them what they should do for booking. And when you know it, it seems like they're following us or someone's paying attention. So we could break down Raw. It's up to you. Let's start off first though with the Charlotte Flair heat, because I heard about that too. Tell me something about that.
So I've never been a fan of Charlotte Flair. I can't stand her. I think she's very egotistical. She's very she's just got a way about her that like goes past her being a heel. And this whole segment from SmackDown and what pursued or what followed was fantastic in a sense that I hope either Charlotte gets a reality check or she follows her hubby over to AEW. So if you're not up to date, basically Charlotte and Becky are SmackDown Women's Champions because there's two of Raw and SmackDown. Becky was the SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte was the Raw Women's Champion. But because the brand split happened and because people are very smart, they got drafted to opposite shows, which meant Friday night on SmackDown, the two had to switch belts, which in all sense and terms is a very weak move. It is very weak to have a promo with your other counterpart champion and just be like, here, you get the blue one, I get the red one now. I guess Charlotte was not happy about it. She didn't want to look weak. Becky didn't like the idea of Charlotte being pissed off, making her look weak. So Charlotte threw a big fit. So
wait, what did Charlotte say no to?
So supposedly, she was being, so now this is from whatculture.com. They were saying that Flair's reputation for being flat out difficult, she feels like she should be treated like somebody else. So basically she didn't want to look weak.
But
she didn't want
treated how? Like she didn't want to just exchange belts?
She thinks that she is literally better than everybody else on the women's roster. So she did not want to be shown on TV just doing what I said, just swapping over belts, which I mean I get. However, the way it played out was Charlotte and Becky go to hand over the belts. Charlotte gives some attitude. Becky kind of throws the belt at Charlotte, and I think that was kind of supposed to be in the segment. And instead of Charlotte catching the belt, again, because she didn't want to look weak, she let the belt drop on the ground. And it just flops on the ground, and they both look at it. It's a really awkward moment, and then she hands over the Raw Championship. After this, apparently Becky and Charlotte got into a huge shouting match in the back. I believe, I can think of her actual name, but for some reason it's slipping me now. But the GM of Raw, Daria, Sonya Deville. Sonya. Apparently she got into it with Charlotte as well in the back because they didn't like, everyone's apparently fed up with Charlotte's attitude, the way she acts. She's very egotistical. She's very for herself. She doesn't look out for anyone in the locker room. And I guess this was kind of the head. Everyone was feeling it, but Becky actually said something. It led to a pretty, from everything I've read, pretty big shouting match in the back afterwards. So it says right here, a difficult backstage situation erupted in WWE last week as Charlotte Flair's reported concerns over looking weak in her planned SmackDown belt exchange with Becky Lynch led to the Raw Women's Championship being dropped in the segment itself, a backstage argument between Flair and Lynch, and ultimately Charlotte being asked to leave the arena. So she had to leave the arena. They also, the WWE ran something on their Instagram recently that was featuring a different superstar, but Charlotte was in the clip as well. And they didn't tag Charlotte. They tagged the other superstar, but they didn't tag Charlotte. So it's just kind of weird. There's a lot of speculation on what kind of punishment she'll get. You know, if higher ups in WWE think she should be punished, if she's going to be in anyone's doghouse besides just the locker rooms. But once you start losing your coworkers in the locker room, it gets very difficult to stay there.
But she's Charlotte Flair.
I don't care.
She is.
I don't care how good she is.
But she is, though. She is different than them, right? And the idea of just swapping belts, the idea of just changing belts lessens those belts, the importance of those belts, dramatically. I would be furious, too, if I'm Charlotte Flair, because that's the dumbest thing I can think of. You're making it seem like we're just like, whatever, interchangeable. We're just going to switch belts because we're on different shows now.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I just think that her being as influential as she is, who she is, and her position in the company, I think that there's a time and place. And if you have an issue with it, I don't think showing your frustrations on live TV and making somebody else who's also supposed to be the face of that brand look to be an idiot because you have an agenda. I don't think it should have been she should have dropped it to Bianca on Monday, to be honest. Bianca's on Raw. Charlotte should have lost the belt to Bianca. There's reports too that supposedly that's what Charlotte pitched, is Charlotte wanted to lose the belt. WWE didn't want to go along with it. I don't believe that. A lot of other people don't believe it. And another a really big thing to point to is about a month ago, the before Nia Jax went out with her injury, the shoot match basically with Nia and Charlotte. They basically were just throwing stiff punches and slaps at each other the whole match because Charlotte didn't want to look weak and Nia didn't want to look weak, and they both were just two proud people who were like, well, screw you, I'm going to punch you in the face, and screw you, I'm going to punch you in the face. And it was just a shit show. So clearly Charlotte is not getting along with her peers, and it's showing on TV, and that is the wrong way to go about someone in her, like, being in her position. Like, yeah, I get it. You're easily the best women's wrestler in wrestling right now.
Frustrated though with this whole thing, and like her husband's over in AEW, and WWE has not been consistent with the female characters. They bring back Becky Lynch like on a hot minute, and then, like I said, to have your belts split up like that, or just like, hey, you can't bark, I'm on the air, you can't bark. So to have like one say, here, just take this belt because you're on that show, and I'll take that belt because I'm on that show. Again, like I said, it lessens the importance of the belts. So I get that. All right, I get that. All right. Other than Charlotte Flair being in the doghouse, tell me what you were starting to tell me before the show about whatchamacallit.
So Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
So I don't really watch Ring of Honor that much. Okay, I know some wrestlers who have come from there. I know Maria Kanellis. I forget her, Maria Bennett. I think she took the whatever first name is, Mike Bennett's last name. She's done some really great things for the women's division over in Ring of Honor. She's been single-handedly kind of building a women's division over there. But they're on Axis at weird times. Yeah, they're on very late. They've had some really questionable booking decisions and some controversy and whatnot. So I actually saw right before coming on the air today that Maria Kanellis on Instagram had posted this really long Instagram post about, thanking all the female wrestlers in the locker room and how she wishes she could have had more time and this, that, and the other thing. And that got me kind of my hair raised. Like, what the hell's going on? And so apparently, and this is from comicbook.com, but it's really all over everywhere now. Ring of Honor released a statement confirming that they will be going on a hiatus following December's Final Battle 2021. They are basically releasing everybody from their contracts after that pay-per-view, and they're going to like rework Ring of Honor and kind of try to reconceptualize the brand in hopes to return roughly like spring, so April of next year. They want to come back to like live crowds because they still haven't really gotten back to like a live capacity like AEW and WWE. So it sounds like, and honestly, it's going to be really hard to release all your talent and then hope that you can get some of them back 4, 5, 6 months from now. So it kind of sounds like Ring of Honor might be done. Well, it's really sad.
I mean, look, the whole COVID thing, it killed a lot of small businesses.
Yeah.
And that goes to small wrestling promotions. And Ring of Honor isn't small by, I guess, local means, but it's definitely small when compared to like the main other brands. So I'm sure that not having live shows cost them a lot of money. It's not like, where else are they generating? They don't got all these video games, or they don't got all this other stuff going that they can make money. They don't have a show in Saudi. Like, yeah, it's tough to keep it up. And I don't know if I'm opposed to them hitting the reset button and just start. By the way, look at his head. Look at the size of this dog's head. He's not even 11 months. Look, Joe.
Oh my God, he's not even a year old.
No, look at his head in my head.
Yeah, he's gonna be a monster. Oh my God,
he already is a monster.
Yeah,
he is Kobe Bo Bear. He is just a beast.
What is he? Does he have like Mastiff or Corso in him?
Yeah, he's Italian Mastiff.
Yeah,
he's Lab, which a Mastiff in a Lab is called a Mastador.
Okay,
but he's his mom was a Mastiff Lab, which makes her a Mastador, and his dad was this tiny fat pit bull. He had 3 sisters, and so I had inquired about him, and someone had already purchased him. So the lady had actually called me back and said, "Hey, the guy who bought that dog gave it back." I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
why'd he give him back?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know. He said he didn't get along with his dog." But I figured out why he gave him back, because when I showed up to pick the dog up, I'm looking at the sisters, and they're all these like short little pudgy, puppies. And then she's like, here he is. And there's this big sack of bones and skin. And he just was enormous as a puppy. Like his legs were, I used to make fun of him because his front legs were so long, he couldn't sit on a windowsill. Like they'd be on the windowsill and his head would be way back here because they were like dumb puppet arms, right? But so yeah, he's a lot of trouble, causes a lot of issues, but I love him. I got his back. Like he's crying right now because he's never been in this house down here this long, and now he's at the bar. But all right, so yeah, hit the reset button on them. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, let the guys go indie, whatnot. Let them get paid. I have no problem with any of that. Do I think it's going to work out for them? I don't know.
No, and that's kind of where I kind of come in with you're right. Ring of Honor does need a refresh, but for you to release all your talent and then go on a hiatus and say, hey, we're going to come back. We're looking to come back March, April of 2022. You're setting yourself up for failure. And that's why I think Ring of Honor might actually be done, which is just sad. I mean, again, I'm not a big into Ring of Honor. I haven't watched a lot of anything recently, but I mean, the list of wrestlers who have come through there is incredible. And then I remember obviously some of the Hardy Boys and the Young Bucks, probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, had one of the greatest tag team ladder matches of all time prior to the Hardy Boys showing up on WrestleMania the following night. So there's a lot of great memorable moments. And it's gonna suck to see to not at least be able to check in on Ring of Honor and see what's going on over there.
Well, can they file Chapter 11?
Honestly, I have no idea. I feel like they probably would have already done that at this point, but
that'd be the best thing to do.
Nothing that I've read has mentioned that. So it's really unclear what they're trying to do. Like I said, they're restructuring, so they're technically not shutting the doors per se. So that might follow. That might be a way for them to consolidate debt, but I don't know. It's all breaking within the last couple hours, so there's not a lot of information on it.
All right, so the thing with them is this. They're not the kind of company that couldn't lose all their wrestlers at any point anyways, right? Like if one of the major companies came along just today, we want these guys, they take them. So, I mean, Ring of Honor isn't that solid of a company to begin with. They've always been on the fringe. So you could see how something like this definitely affected them, right? So let's go over the Raw results.
You want to hit Crown Jewel first?
Oh boy!
Not to jump in, but yeah, I mean we could. There was a major pay-per-view.
Yes, hold on. Let me type. Kobe immediately got mad. He's not like Saudis. I don't know. This is my dog. He's got. I don't want to say he's racist. He just doesn't. He doesn't like dictatorships and stuff. I mean, hold on. Crown Jewel results. Kobe, you have no help.
So, did you get to see any of Crown Jewel? I know you said
I watched it.
So, I mean, I'll start off. So we can. I think we could probably skip the Usos and the Hurt Business because it was just a good tag team match between guys that we've seen. I think we should get right into the Edge and Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell match.
All right, let's do it.
Which was phenomenal.
Now,
holy hell, Seth Rollins had some relatively scary spots in that. In Edge, I mean, every time Edge takes a bump, man, I close my eyes. A great match, though.
All right, but let me ask you this: did you? I mean, I wanted to see him come out to the Brood again.
I know it was going to happen.
I know, but I wanted to see it again because they're kind of mixing it into, you think you know me. They're making it more. It used to be more. He was rock and roll. He'd come out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now he's bringing back that I'm crazy
dark side,
dark side of Edge type thing, which I like. But so this, all right. So first of all, that tag team match was a good match to watch. Like I enjoyed watching that match. I'm like, all right,
very, very solid tag team match. But again, it was no storyline. It was just on the pre-show to get some guys to put a match on the pre-show.
Exactly. And then this pops. Boom. Edge and Seth Rollins.
I couldn't believe they started the show with this.
Hell, you start off a show, your first singles match is a Hell in a Cell.
Probably the best match of the night, too.
Right.
Or the afternoon.
And I mean, they get after it. Like, here's the thing. Anybody who tells me now, like, that Crown Jewel is just basically a show for WWE to do like a house show and just get through it. After what happened with the whole Fiend before and then Goldberg thing and now this is a real pay-per-view.
This is a big pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it's a lot of
production.
production.
Bar, you don't drink. Get down. He's up at the bar. Get off the bar. You don't drink. So it's up there. I mean, it's up there with top pay-per-views because they're having major matches go down, and we're seeing major fights. This thing's all crazy. As you can see, I'm trying to adjust myself to my new surroundings. So Seth Rollins, his character, it needs to be more definitive. They need to zero in on the whole crazy thing, and they need to bring back the Monday Night Messiah angle. Because he's still pretty much saying he's like that, but so he went from the architect to the one I just said, and now he calls himself what the
Drip Lord or something, or like
like he sees in the future or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the type of dude that needs to have a posse around him. He needs to get a guy from Muscle. He needs a muscle guy like a bodyguard. He should have his wife with him all the time. And if you want to have the bloodline, then they could call this like the championship. You know what I mean? The like whatever you want to call them, they're all champs. Like just make it seem like, in other words, they could be the next Evolution, but you do it differently. You do it with your wife as the top female star. You get somebody with muscle, and then you bring back somebody from the past. Boom. That's a group that would rival Roman Reigns in a heartbeat, especially if they go and they get what's his face's wife, Naomi.
I would do basically what you're saying, but I would kind of focus more on. So I would go more of like a cult kind of thing, where I mean, and I wouldn't reuse obviously the Wyatt family because that was more like a dark, ominous. I would do more of like I don't know how to put it. So the way I'm thinking of it is, if you play video games at all, there's a game called Far Cry 5. Not my favorite Far Cry. It was the one they just came out with a new one, but basically that was based around a cult in Montana, a very eccentric kind of like hillbilly-ish type people. Yep, so I would do a cult more like that, where it's not dark and ominous. It's just crazy people who just believe this guy and everything that he does. Maybe call him the Rollinites or something. And it's him and Becky, and it's the cult leader, the wife, and they're both kind of like they're so good, they're so powerful.
All right, it's definitely not the Roman, whatever you just said. That's a horrible name. Don't ever say it again, okay? Ever again. But here's the thing. I don't think that they need to be crazy. I think that Seth Rollins just needs to prove to them that he's right. Like, in other words, just say, listen to me and this will happen. And then whatever happens, it comes true.
Yeah.
And they start to believe. And him and Becky, they're constantly hyping each other up, telling the other wrestlers, we're right. Listen to us. We're going to be the ones. That's all you need to do. Because then you go get his son, Braun, whatever his name is on NXT. Yeah. Bring him in, put him as your muscle, right? That's a no-nonsense muscle type guy. That's exactly what Seth would want.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Seth would tell him something. That guy goes and does it, right?
Yep.
And then you get maybe one other guy, and he's got to be like a wild card. You need you need like a
Austin
Umaga.
Theory.
You need but you need an Umaga. I really think they need when you say crazy, I agree with you. They could get Austin Theory. He could be the young blood, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have the
prodigy.
You'd have the muscle. You'd have the young prodigy, but you got to have the wild card. And they need some sort of like crazy dude, like big dude, strong dude, just somebody different.
Tommaso Ciampa.
What's that?
Tommaso Ciampa.
That might be not, but he's too small.
Yeah, he's not big enough. I know.
A little bit bigger.
Big guy, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely his type of mindset would work. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of crazy. I want to fight for the sake of fighting. But all right. So that match was phenomenal. I agree.
I will say of that match, though, I think having Seth lose to Edge was the wrong call, especially now that Seth is the number one contender for the WWE Championship.
Edge I don't think so.
What does Edge gain winning that match, though? I mean, he's not.
I'll tell you what he gains. He's old, and everybody thought he was done, right? Bad neck and everything. Seth Rollins, his career does not get hurt at all by losing this match. If anything, it gives him a chance to like freak out, reform, and come back, right? Because he had that thing for a while where it's like rebuild, whatever, and like he's into that whole type of stuff. Edge needed this because this gives him now at least 6 more months worth of booking where he's still considered now a legit fighter, right? He just beat Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell. He's not this old guy who's got a bad neck. Now he can hang in there for a couple of bouts, and get some mileage out of him. That's how I saw it, at least. That's why I think they let Edge get over.
I still would have gone for Seth if you were going to put him in a main title program. But I mean, again, you're not wrong, but I also don't think I'm wrong either. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, but like, Seth doesn't get hurt. Again, it gives him a reason to like regroup and start that whole thing that we're talking about. So
yeah, it's a match that both definitely looked strong coming out of. I just still wish that Seth went over.
All right. Well, then we had Mansour beat Mustafa Ali.
Who didn't see that coming?
Shocker.
Yeah.
Like shocker alert. Like here's something that oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Oh my God. Like, and I even felt like the Saudi people felt like they were being force-fed that.
So, do you want to know my favorite part about this match?
What's that?
It's so you know why they had the match, because they both do have like a Middle Eastern background. But,
of course.
But when Mustafa Ali's coming out, they're announcing him, and they go from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm like, well, it's still American. Like it doesn't. Like it's not like he's Kairi Sane who came from Japan, or Asuka. It's not Pete Dunne coming from England or the UK, wherever. No, he was from Chicago, Illinois. He just has some Middle Eastern background. I believe Mansour's the same way. His name's probably Bill or Jack or something American. It was pandering at its finest, and it was laughable at best.
That's why I'm saying I think that even the Saudi crowd, when they saw that match, they were like, it's like if it's like if I had two old Italians come wrestle down in my basement, it'd be like, I don't want to see this. I get it, but I don't want to see it, Yeah. So all right, moving on after that one. RK Bro beats AJ Styles and Omos. Now the best part about that was when what's his face came out, and he's with the scooter, and he's like, whoa, wait, and he goes back and he comes out on a camel.
Yeah.
And the best part about that is not him on the camel, is not the camel. It's Randy Orton trying to figure out, how am I going to walk to the ring with him on a camel? Like, should I stand behind him? Do I stand near him? Like, I can see it at times. I can see him thinking, like, the last thing I want to do is get kicked by a camel on a pay-per-view. Spit on by a camel. Like, seriously, like, they put Randy Orton in a weird spot. Like, at least, what's his face? Riddle wasn't riding the camel. You know what I mean?
I think that was kind of the point, though. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so ridiculous. It's so Matt Riddle and Randy, every time he does something ridiculous, he's just kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
No, I agree, but that was legitimately like that because he was walking next to a camel. Like, there's nothing preset about, like, how do I handle this? Like, when the camel starts kicking or something, you know what I mean? So it's
I never thought of it like this, but now that you're kind of just saying it out loud, it is probably the funniest thing I've thought about all day.
It was just crazy. But then the match itself, right? I love AJ Styles. The finish, though, I already saw that finish.
It came from, you could see it from a mile away. Like, how are you going to beat the tag team with Omos? Oh, you knock him off the apron, you distract him. You know what I mean? You
AJ goes to the forearm, and Randy just slips the RKO in. But I do like the way that they wrestle Randy and Riddle. I think Riddle brings more personality out of Orton when he's wrestling it. They're a good tag team.
Yeah.
Like if I was booking this, I would book this now to where they're champs for a while, and then Orton starts like approve of Riddle, and I think Riddle should have a moment where once Orton is like sees him as an actual peer, Riddle just moves on. You know what I mean? Like, I think once he gets Randy's full respect and whatnot, I think he moves on to another wrestler. That would be funny with me, with Riddle. Like, just keep him fresh with different people. Now, Styles and Omos, I mean, does anybody really want to see that fight?
That might get split up soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but does anybody really want to see it? Because, I mean, that's what they're sending our way. Styles versus Omos.
I think you would see. Honestly, I think it would end up being a squash. I think it would be AJ Styles and Omos would just destroy him.
You'd have to. Yeah, you'd have to. Because you cannot have them fight and have Omos come out not looking like a dominant monster. Because if you don't, you wasted all that time building him up to that point.
If you don't,
you get Styles. He's got to squash him.
If you don't, you get the result of the next match, which was Doudrop and Alina Vega.
Yeah. So, all right. So the next match was the final of the Queen's Crown tournament. Here's the thing. You know, I'm all for like equal rights, or if that's what you want to even call it in wrestling. But the Queen's Crown tournament just didn't feel right to me because you only got a couple of females on the roster that are actually decent wrestlers, and they weren't in the tournament. And then your final is Alina Vega, who is tiny, as all tiny can be. And then again, Doudrop. Like, you know what I mean?
It was so the Queen's Crown sounded great on paper, and everything about the execution was absolutely terrible. All of Doudrop's wins were luck and awful. Every match, I think, in the tournament was less than 3 minutes, and this one wasn't any longer. And I will give credit to Zelina Vega. The the sunset flip powerbomb was actually pretty impressive for a girl her size, given how the size of Doudrop. But the match was stale, it was flat, it wasn't spectacular, they were slow. I mean, actually, there was a point where Zelina's bouncing off the ropes and she's going to hit. I think it was she was going to hit like a tornado DDT, and she is running at Doudrop and she like slows down to a screeching halt, and then like Doudrop just kind of picks her up like they're ballet, like they're figure skaters. Like it was. I hate to say it because I'm not a professional. They're better at it than I am, but it was still like so hard to watch because you could tell they were just not comfortable with each other. They weren't sure what was going on, and it visually looked bad.
That's the point. They didn't know what was going on. They looked like they did not have a well planned out match. They seemed unsure of the spots, and it almost seemed like they were told right before they came out, like, to cut the match down to something, because it just seemed like they weren't going on schedule, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. Like, I could picture them coming out thinking they had a 10-minute match, and right before they hit the curtain, they're like, you got like 4 minutes. And then these two girls, they're not seasoned enough where they can just be like, all right, well, we'll do my 4 moves. You do your 4 moves. We'll make this work, right? They're not. Yeah. So you can't do that to people like that, especially on a pay-per-view, especially in Saudi where they're not even allowed to show any skin at all. You got to wear like goddamn long johns. It's ridiculous. Suits. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But so that match, it didn't do anything. It didn't make either one of them better. I mean, it didn't make Zelina Vega a contender in my book. So, I mean, whatever. The match was whatever. After that, however, I thought was a good match. For who was in this match, I thought it was a good match. Goldberg versus Lashley. I think Lashley got the best out of Goldberg he could. I think Goldberg fought one of the best matches Goldberg's wrestled in a long time. I mean, if you think of Goldberg matches and how he usually wrestles, this may be one of the best wrestling matches he's had. As far as it looked real, it seemed real. He had a lot of emotion. Like they kept him to being simple things. Like, you know what I mean? It worked. This match worked for me. What did you think of it?
So I'm going to start out by saying that I'm not above doing this. I told you so. I told you last week. I mentioned this when Bobby Lashley beat Goldberg, and when he lost the WWE Championship, I told you Goldberg was going over in this match. I don't like the finish. You're right when you say that the match actually, for me, I was surprised by how well it was because it's two big heavyweights. The jackhammer that he hit on Lashley was pretty damn good for what it was. I thought the spot with the spear off the stage was actually pretty good as well. The fact that Goldberg actually even took that bump, I thought was pretty good, but he didn't sell it. Like you speared a guy off of the stage through like multiple tables. I know it was a crash pad, but like multiple tables, and you're supposed to, kind of suspend your suspend reality. And he just pins him and then gets up and walks away. I will say one thing I've always loved and admired about the New Japan Pro Wrestling promotion is that no matter who's in the match, no matter if it's top stars, whoever, after a match, they physically like act like they are so exhausted and they don't just get up and like, I won. And I hate that, especially in the American product, but mainly WWE. You don't see that enough. Like, so I'm going to kind of backtrack here, but the Seth and Edge match, that was a great match because the ending, both superstars, like Seth was dead and Edge looked exhausted, and he might have been, but he played it up like that. I don't like that Goldberg didn't really sell a lot of Bobby's offense. And at the end, he didn't sell the fact that they both just careened off of the stage through tables. Like, if you need me to believe that a guy like Bobby just lost to that, you have to sell it yourself that like, wow, that really hurt me too. Like, no, he just gets up and walks away. Like, they're sitting there like, oh, Bobby hasn't moved in minutes. I think he's done. He hasn't moved. And as they pan, he's sitting there moving around. And it's like, this is just, you're right for what it was. It was a good match, but there are little things that just irked me. And it's because it's Goldberg, and he's never been that kind of guy that would sell. He's always been dangerous. And I don't know. It was just, the ending killed me.
I'm going to go the opposite way on you. I'm going to say that I like the fact that Goldberg spears this guy. First of all, the spear could have happened a little quicker because I saw it. I'm like, oh, they're going to go off the thing. And then there was like a hesitation, and then they went off it. But I like the fact that Goldberg spears this guy off the thing, lands through the tables, and then just gets up like a badass, like, I told you this is what I was going to do, and then just walks off. Like, I had no problem with that, man, because that's who Goldberg is, right? Like, I like this match. Like, you got out of Goldberg probably the best, people have gotten in a long time. So
his best match in almost 2 decades.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I would be happy with it and run. All right. So then we had your favorite match of the night. Xavier Woods, King Xavier, defeats Finn Balor to win the King of the Ring tournament. Boy, I could be blind and I would have saw this one coming. What did you think of this one?
So you really want me to go first on this?
Oh, yeah.
So I thought everything about this match was awful. It was too quick. The offense was predictable and awful. There didn't look like there was a lot of chemistry. And again, I'm sorry, but Finn Balor is your first Universal Champion. He is one of your longest running, and it was one of your longest running NXT champions. He carried NXT through 2020, through most of this year. And you're telling me that a former champion, a former Intercontinental champion, loses that way to Xavier Woods, who has done nothing as a single superstar in the WWE. You're telling me that elbow, that top rope, not even a top rope, but that springboard elbow, which, I mean, impressively enough, he actually hits that from pretty far, is like now his finisher, and like that's what put you away. And it was just very quick. It happened very fast. It was, in my opinion, it was not a good match. It was way too predictable. And honestly, they didn't need Finn to put Xavier Woods over in that spot.
But it gave him some credibility. It gave Xavier a lot of credibility to beat Finn Balor for the championship.
I think it ruins Finn's credibility more than it helps Finn's credibility. Now, granted, when we get to Raw later, I think that the Saudi show is like, if you read comics and there's like a run of comics, they get or like a show, there's a run of shows, and then there's like this random like week where they're on a hiatus and they do a one-off show, but that show doesn't have anything to do with the world. It's like a what if. I kind of feel like the Saudi show is a what if, where like nothing in this mattered at all. It was just kind of like it happened and it was there. You know what I mean? Like none of this really, it was just kind of like this happened in its own universe. And now that we're back to regular programs, like, because you got like Finn in the main event, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of, that's how I kind of feel about it, how it came off to me, because, you know, yeah, you get Finn in a ladder match for the number one contender slot, but he just lost to Xavier Woods, who realistically isn't a single star. So I hated the match. I thought it was awful. Definitely some bias there, but I do genuinely think that I don't think the match was that good.
I don't think that Xavier Woods is that good. How about that?
No.
Like I mean, like I said, all three of the New Day don't have to get their own little push. Like I don't like that because I told you that the whole thing felt like it was stuffed down my throat the whole time that it happened.
Well, not only that, but the King of the Ring shouldn't be a face. Like the King of the Ring should 99% of the time be a heel. At least in Finn Balor's case, he's a face, but he's more of like an anti-hero, where he kind of became more of an asshole when he adopted or readopted his Prince persona. You know, it's because, and you see like the coronation that Xavier Woods got and the way he acted, and like
exactly
like a heel when you win. So like, it makes me not like Xavier Woods even more, because now you're like, bah, I'm the king. Like, no, man, you look like an asshole. Like that,
but that's where it's going. I think that's where it's going.
I do too. I think you're 100% right on that.
Xavier Woods becomes the cocky member of New Day that wants the camera to always be on him, that he wants this to happen, that to happen. You know, maybe like Kofi and Big E are like, you know, what's going on? Like why are you acting like this? Or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
And then he just keeps getting bigger ego-wise. Like that to me is where the money is on this one. You know what I mean? Like because if they do anything else, pointless.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you're 100% right. And you could kind of see it coming from a mile away too. This is another one of those booking decisions where it's like you can feel it, because a face wouldn't act the way that Xavier Woods is acting unless there is a planned heel turn. And at some point, you do have to break up the New Day. You know, like that has to happen at some point. Factions aren't made to last forever. And you're not even promoting like the New Day like they used to be, where it was always kind of an event where they come out with the pancakes and all this stuff. Now it's like it's just not the same. So I think a split is coming, where you'll have kind of Big E and
it'll be him and Kofi first.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be Kofi Kingston and Big E kind of looking at each other like, man, this guy just won King of the Ring and he's kind of acting like an asshole. You know what? Screw him. And they'll be like, you know what? We don't really need each other either. We've had success as singles. We'll go our own separate way. Maybe there's a title feud in there, but honestly, I don't think Big E's surviving Seth Rollins, so I don't think that matters anyway.
So I think Big E goes on to other things, right? He's got other matches and other things to worry about. I think it's Kofi that is the one to be like, you know, what's the deal? Like, what's going on? And then, you know, for like, what's his face to Xavier Woods to literally tell Kofi to pay him more respect. Like I'm a king. Like I would literally have him be like that. No, you call me King, Xavier. Like that type of thing. Because that Kofi would play very well into that whole role. Like that would be a very good match, just by the way Kofi is. So that's that. I mean, I didn't like the match so much. I didn't hate it. To be honest, the whole card was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you're
wrestling.
This section to me though was the weakest point. From the Queen's Crown, through the Goldberg, Lashley, and the King of the Ring, I thought was a kind of a weak point.
Yeah, that King of the Ring really must have bugged you. So all right, the next one would be Big E defeats Drew McIntyre. I don't know what they're gonna do with Drew. I would really like to see Drew be like a bad guy or something. You know what I mean? Like,
that's how he'll come back to get his. That's how he'll win his next main title championship is as a heel.
Because he's got to do something different. Yes,
he's gonna snap. Yeah, he'll kind of snap because, you know, I think what they've done with Drew is actually really good. I think putting Big E over Drew kind of legitimizes Big E. Like his first opponent wasn't like Kevin Owens or someone kind of a smaller type. You know, they didn't feed Finn Balor to him. They gave him Drew McIntyre, who's a big dude, who's kind of a badass and who easily carried them through the pandemic. I think kind of putting Big E over him in that match was actually a really good idea to kind of legitimize Big E's run early. Because like I said,
I just said this to you about Xavier Woods and why he beat Finn Balor, but you took it different.
Yeah.
They both legitimized the guy because they're both really good opponents.
Well,
that's
so
why they're put in those spots.
Here's the difference, though, is if you're gonna look at the superstars of who they are, right? So Big E is at least one main roster singles championships, and he is a big guy. He is a legitimate heavyweight wrestler.
He's Big E.
Xavier Woods has never been any of that. He's never won a main roster singles championship. He's never had any type of success as a single star. He's really never shown anything on his own. And his first push comes in the King's Crown, where he literally beat, at least in back-to-back weeks, former main title champions, because obviously the Universal is not WWE champion, but you know where I'm going. He beat Jinder Mahal. He beat Finn Balor. Xavier Woods, in my eyes, didn't deserve that type of path to win the King's Crown, the King of the Ring. If you're gonna have him win King of the Ring, he shouldn't have beat those superstars. It should have been like Ricochet, maybe throw Dolph. Like, why isn't Dolph Ziggler in a singles match? You know, like I get obviously the tag team with him and Bobby Roode. I forget what they're calling themselves now. The Dirty something. Is great. But like, why couldn't you feed Dolph Ziggler to him? Like, you didn't need it doesn't work for me for him to go over former champions. However, Big E is the champion, and you want people to view Big E as, they already do, as a legitimate champion. So his first real opponent after handling Bobby Lashley is Drew McIntyre, another big dude who was a former champion. So I think it right there puts a stamp saying he isn't a transitional champion. He is the champion. The issue is I don't think he's getting past Seth Rollins. I think they're going to do a Survivor Series that's Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns as the main event. But again, we'll end up down that road.
This is going right into what I was saying, because he could easily become the muscle for Seth Rollins. He's in a battle with Big E, right? Seth goes to fight him in the next thing. Becky, Seth, Drew McIntyre, and that other guy, the nephew of
Braun Breaker.
Boom. They go up against the Bloodline. That's a perfect set of group, especially with Survivor Series coming down the pike. You know what I mean? That's who I would put, I think. Drew McIntyre's got to go somewhere. He's got to have some reason.
See, I think what would be an even more interesting idea was, and I guess you really wouldn't want to do this to Big E. However, if we're gonna do the cult thing, you have Big E lose a title to Seth. You have him lose a rematch to Seth, and he loses it. Kind of freaks out, and he starts seeing Seth as the savior. You know what? I lost you. You must be doing something right that I'm not. Let me follow you and learn from you. And then eventually down the line, he would be the one who would kind of break away. And he would wrestle Seth, maybe get another championship opportunity, and then Braun would wrestle him, and that's how Braun gets his singles push by beating Big E. But it rolls like that. You have
what's his face, McIntyre, lose to Rollins, right? Because maybe interference by Becky Lynch. We start to get that more involved, and then after the match, how you would pitch it is you have Seth Rollins helping him up and kind of telling him, come with me, things will change, after he beats him. And then there's Becky Lynch in the ring, and she's telling him the same thing, and she's got the belt over her shoulder. That's hype. That's how you recruit somebody. And that'd be perfect timing to recruit an Braun. Angry and a disillusioned Drew McIntyre first. That would work for me.
I think in that scenario, too, you bring Braun up and you give him the United States Championship. You do the same thing they did with Randy Orton, and you give him a mid-card title in that faction.
Totally agree. Or you make him, Braun, and McIntyre go take the belts from the Usos.
I would want to stay away from making at least Braun a tag team champion. I would want to give him a mid-card title and maybe give like Austin, if Austin Theory's in there, you give McIntyre in theory the tag team championship.
If you got those three, you definitely don't put the Braun guy as the solo. It would be Austin Theory that would get that middle.
Yeah, because he'd be the prodigy. He'd be like the Randy Orton kind of thing.
And
yeah.
those two as a tag team, McIntyre and Braun would be beasts.
Be like Kane and Big Show.
Yeah, that'd be a brutal tag team to have to go up against. So I think like that. I think we're actually talking ourselves into a good position right now. I think that's what they actually should do. Those are the two guys that would be perfect. And for the same reason we're just saying, that's why they should go down that road. Like that's how it all should turn. So then SmackDown Women's Championship triple threat match. Becky Lynch beats Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. I'll let you start on this. What did you think of the match?
It was pretty hectic, but overall really good. Again, I don't love the ending. They kind of did like a what do you call it? Like because they didn't want to make anyone really look weak in this, so they kind of did like a half-assed kind of booking decision at the end. Overall, though, it was a really good match. It kind of started off slow, but it really started providing some awesome moments, like seeing Becky locking a disarmer on both of her opponents at the same time was pretty sick. Bianca looked like a badass through the whole thing. Sasha always gets kind of her more fast, high-flying offense in. It was fantastic. My only question, though, was where the hell did Becky start using the rock bottom as her finisher? Like, when did this become a thing? Have you seen that?
No, I didn't. Like, I don't know what started it. I'll tell you that much.
They call it like the man slam now or something. I don't know. It's weird, but like it's a rock bottom. Like you don't spit in my face and tell me it's rain. I know exactly what that is.
My only issue, right, is the characters of Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. And my question is, other than their style of fighting, one's portrayed as bigger and stronger, and one's more like speed and craftiness. What's the difference of their characters that they're portraying?
So I think Bianca's got more of like the I'm a badass who doesn't give a shit about anything, and I don't care if you think you're strong. Like I know I'm tougher than you, so you're not gonna stop. Like you're not gonna punk me off. Like I just think she's a badass.
How's that different than what Sasha Banks is?
Well, because I think Sasha's got is more. Because I wouldn't necessarily call Sasha a badass. I think it's like. Because she's done a lot of Weasley things that in my eyes wouldn't make me think of her as a badass. She's an opportunist. Honestly, and her favorite wrestler growing up was Eddie Guerrero. Like I see her in more of an Eddie Guerrero role. She's a great wrestler, but she kind of uses slimy, cheap tactics to win. She's always kind of like in the shadows, waiting for her time to strike. You know what I mean? The biggest difference is Sasha is more of the wait for her opportunity, where Bianca is the type that is literally just going to take an opportunity or she's going to attack you head on and not wait and not care what happens.
I got to be honest. I still have a hard time with that. I think they're kind of similar in their whole flashiness, the whole bling type factor, that whole like Sasha flat out says she's the boss. That's kind of what Bianca's saying without saying it. It's just, I don't know. I get them a little confused when it comes to like where they're going with their characters. But I think Bianca Belair has got a huge future. I think she's incredible athlete. What I want to know is, in your thoughts, is that hair real?
That's
I'm being honest.
I don't know, because I don't have enough hair to know if you could do that with your hair.
I think you could.
It has to be, right?
I don't know. It could be like an extension, but the thing is,
it's why I would lean extension.
Yeah, the reason I would lean towards it being real is because, I mean, it would be really hard to have fake hair like that. I would think. I mean,
well, and the fact that she uses it as a weapon. So, like, you'd think at some point, if it was an extension, it would either pull out or like something would happen. But nah, I think that's real. I'll have to look it up after the show.
It's a tough one. I'll tell you what, that's a tough one.
It's our homework. We'll come up with the answer next week.
Yeah, right. So all right. So Becky wins this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. This run of Becky Lynch seems stale. There's something wrong with it. And that's why I think she needs to do the old team up with her husband, get a whole group going, change the style, become more like, I don't know. I don't. Am I wrong to say that it seems a little stale? It just doesn't seem as right.
No, it seems forced. Her character is different than it was before. So I think a way that you could do it too is you could have her lose the title, and then she gets all down and out, and Seth's like, "Hey, come, like let's talk. Like I can help you." And then Seth wins the WWE Championship, and she's like, "Wow, holy shit, you're right. You can help me." And then she wins her championship, and now people are like, the hell's going on with these two? They got some weird mojo where like all of a sudden now they're believing in themselves and they're winning these titles, and then you can start gravitating people that way. I think if you start with Becky losing and then regaining, and then after she loses, she rebuilds and she kind of gets that, adds a little layer to her character. That's how you'd really probably get that faction rolling.
I would go one step further, and I would literally have Seth Rollins say something along the lines of like, you have to do, why would you not trust me? Like, don't I always deliver even in the bed? Like gotta drop that. Like, you know what I mean? Bring on that whole, like that angle of it. And then if Becky's like, you always deliver, she says that back to him, we're off and running, man. We got a new style of a group, right? It's definitely going to be different. Like, I don't know. I would be deadly excited about that. That to me is excitement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like with that angle, they want to go more, curse words, more like innuendos. Why not have a married couple say something like that and get this shit rolling? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, their more use of swearing is just it's exactly as you said. It's so bad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Becky called Bianca a bitch on SmackDown or something like that, and it just was so flat. Like you're right. Like they're starting their promos are based around like, I'm gonna do this promo, and the very last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call you a bitch, and it's gonna
ass, hurt. Or I'm like you kick your ass or something like that, something dumb like that. But yeah, that's yeah, exactly. So then, all right, last match of I know, Cole, but I didn't like the match either. Last match was Roman Reigns defeats Brock Lesnar. Now, the ending ended with a very well-placed Paul Heyman throwing of the belt into the middle of the ring between the two of them and just saying, you know what to do. Just do it. Now, he didn't say anybody's name. He didn't even look at one wrestler. So, like, it left it up in the air, like, oh, who's Paul throwing that belt to get the job done? Was he throwing it to Roman? Was he throwing it to Brock? Like, what's the real deal? Like, I like that ending. I thought they pulled it off really well. I think Heyman's always money in the bank anyways, though. I think Heyman's just, like, he gets it. He's good at it. You know what I mean? What did you think? And the match itself, I thought, was pretty good. What did you think of the whole thing?
So the beginning of the show, Paul, comes out flustered, gets interviewed by the new Irish guy that they have on there, and at the very end, he ends his little promo with, "I will walk in with Roman Reigns, the undisputed Universal Champion, and I will walk out with the undisputed Universal Champion." But he doesn't say a name.
Yep.
And it's truly one of those, like, is this a slow burn? Like, when is Paul Heyman going to turn on the bloodline, or how is this going to go? I thought everything about this was dynamite. I still don't think this match needed a championship involved. However, I don't think it hurt. And overall, seeing Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, especially Brock with his new gimmick, is never not going to deliver on what you want it to give you. So it was fantastic. It was a great way to end a really surprisingly good show.
No, one, I agree. Surprisingly, a really good show. Two, I like the fact that you keep the belt on Reigns for this match because, even though it's a big match and we're calling it bigger than it used to be, it still was in Saudi, and let Roman win that one, and then let's get this built up to be something more, right?
So I don't think Roman's going to lose to Brock, though. I think Brock's return is solely to build Roman as the most unbeatable champion that could ever live. I don't think Roman's losing this championship anytime soon. And honestly, I don't think there's anyone on the main roster right now that's going to beat him. He's too money for them. He's probably one of the best characters in wrestling right now. I think this whole thing is it's just a way to show, like, oh, remember when Brock Lesnar couldn't be beaten? Well, look who's got his number now. And you're going to see Roman with this title through WrestleMania, which sucks. It should be the WWE Championship, but that's a different story for a different day.
What I want to see is, and I've been tossing this around in my head, is I would want to book a 6-man elimination chamber match, right? And what I would do is I would get Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg, and Big E, and just start with those 4, right? Then you can go get Drew McIntyre to be the 5th, and man, you can do like Seth Rollins as the 6th. If you think about
Bobby
it.
Lashley too.
Or Lashley. Let's do Lashley, which would be better. Because
Just
now look,
big dudes.
Look at the dudes that are in the ring. Roman, Brock, Goldberg, Big E, Drew, and Lashley. What an elimination chamber match that fucker would be. Right?
Yeah.
That's great. That would be great. And the thing is, they have the talent to do that. They could put that match on. That's a match they could do. And who the hell would not want to watch that match? Like, seriously, that's like, think about that for a second. If that was like the main event at like SummerSlam or whatever's next, even WrestleMania in March. But yeah. Like, if that was the main event for a belt, tell me you would not go crazy to see Roman, Brock, Goldberg, Big E, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley all inside the Elimination Chamber at once.
Yeah, it would be a great showcase of some epic powerhouse wrestlers in the WWE. And I think it would just be it wouldn't be as, like, you wouldn't probably see anyone diving off the top of a pod, but you'd see people go through the pods. You'd see, I'd maybe even like make a weak spot in the chain link fence around it and maybe have someone get thrown out of the elimination chamber itself, kind of thing. Because you got to think of the power that's in that ring could happen. So yeah, there's so much they could do with that.
So I can't believe we're running past time, but so what I would do on top of that, Joe, just for the sake of it, like if we stay with that theme, then why would we not do a second elimination chamber match on the same night? But this time you go Seth Rollins, Finn Balor as the Demon. You go for all the guys that are going to give you like pop, that are going to be able to fly off stuff, that are going to be able to do all kinds of crazy shit. Like if you had like a powerhouse elimination chamber match, and then it was more of like I don't want to say technician, but like those type of guys,
more agile.
That would be a great card, man.
One would be for the WWE Championship, the other would be for the Universal.
And yes, and the thing is, like, they gotta make a point out of like talking about like how they picked who for what match, because like they would have to be like, well, we picked Roman, Brock, Goldberg, Big E, Drew, and Lashley, because not only are they all champs, but they're the biggest dudes or whatever. And then it's like, all right, well, this time we went with this type of wrestlers. And it's, off the top of my head, I'm thinking you have to go with Seth. You have to go with Finn Balor. What other 4 guys off the top of your head?
You probably do like Kofi, AJ Styles.
I would not want to do Kofi. So let's start again. But I would like Seth and Finn as the Demon.
Styles.
Then Styles, I have no problem with that. That's a definite.
Maybe do like Randy Orton.
Randy Orton is definitely one, but he's slower.
He's slower and he's bigger, but he's still kind of more on that level.
I'll keep him there for now, but let's see who else we can come up with.
Cesaro. Cesaro could be good for that.
Yeah, but
It's tough. You get to this level and there's just not.
I want pop. I want former champs. I want guys that are gonna bring me attention here. Like
Tommaso
guys that can
Ciampa.
really
I want
wrestle.
Tommaso Ciampa in that match.
I wouldn't mind Ciampa in that match.
I
leaves us-
love that guy, man.
That leaves us one spot, and I still don't feel like we're getting the right reaction from.
No.
I don't want Kofi there. But
I think this match would take more than just a couple minutes of us just kind of throwing it together.
No. We're close. Give me one more wrestler. That's how about Kevin Owens?
Oh yeah, how did we or Rey Mysterio too? I mean, we can take the guys out of the ladder match, but Kevin Owens is definitely that guy can't have a bad match.
Edge would be better than Randy Orton, I think, or Ciampa. You know what? Edge might beat out Tommaso Ciampa just because of his edge.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like So all right, so if I changed it to Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, the Demon, AJ Styles, Edge, and Kevin Owens in an Elimination Chamber match for the other belt.
That gives us just 5, though. We need one more.
No, that's 6. Seth, Finn, Styles, Edge, Owens. Oh, I still had Orton.
Yeah, so there you go. 6. Keep Orton.
6. Boom, right? That's that. Now, before we end the show, I would want to do like a Elimination Chamber tag team match with 2 guys stand in the pod. So you could get the Usos, who are one side of the champ, right? You can get, you already had Randy Orton, so you can't have him go there. But then again, we could take out Randy Orton
and put in Tommaso Ciampa.
Right out of my hand. It's cool. Put Tommaso Ciampa in that match, right? Now we're moving Randy Orton into RK Bro.
Oh, you know who we're forgetting too is Bearcat Lee. We could have put him somewhere. I mean, we should take Goldberg's out of the first match and put Bearcat in that spot. I don't want anything to do with Goldberg. He shouldn't be anywhere near these matches.
All right, I have no problem with that. We take out Goldberg and we put in Keith Lee. I'm not gonna call him Bearcat Lee because I just don't like it yet. All right, but in the tag team one, just so we can wrap this up, Usos, RK Bro, right?
Yep.
Can't do Styles and Omos. They're already there.
The Dirty Dogs.
The Dirty Dogs.
The Street Profits.
Ugh.
Yeah, you got to put them in though. They're one of the best tag teams in the division right now.
Street Profits. That's 4. You need 2 more.
Viking Raiders.
And then Team Alpha, the wrestlers with the
Otis and Gable. I was saying maybe do I would love to take like Imperium and put Imperium on this or something.
Yeah, but
maybe throw 2 people from like Block Party or there's a lot of different tag teams that could go in this match.
No, but we're almost there. Usos, RK Bro, the Dirty Dogs, the Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, and what do they call Team Alpha?
Team Alpha, yeah, or Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy. Joe, right there, that's 3 uses of the whole elimination. The Elimination Chamber, where those would be great freaking matches. Like, that's what I'm talking about booking. You wouldn't go crazy over that shit. Like one night where they call it like the best of the best. They can call it whatever they want, right? Or they could call it like a booking dream. You know what I mean? Like dream matches, and then just have maybe like 3 of those, and then run another like 3 or 4 matches. Oh, you can do the women's.
You can do the women's. That. Yeah,
you put
there's
Becky,
mid-card titles.
Charlotte, Sasha. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But you do it right? Like that's 4 matches right there of Elimination Chambers where we just broke down the big guys for one belt, the technicians kind of for the other belt, tag team champs and teams for the 3rd match, and then the women's championship match. That's 4 Elimination Chamber matches that I would watch. Like that would be like, wow. And then you'd only have to add like 1 or 2 other matches because those 4 matches would take up almost all the night.
Yeah, and that would be your United States Championship and your Intercontinental Championship matches.
And you could literally, if you think about it, for the United States or for the Intercontinental, all new guys, like all people that are trying to break into the whole thing, and we could book them in an Elimination Chamber. You bring up that guy Braun. You bring up all these guys. What's his face? We were just talking about. We've been talking about him all night. The Prodigy Kid.
Oh, Austin Theory.
Bang.
Get Johnny Gargano up.
Exactly, dude. And now we got an event, a pay-per-view that who the hell doesn't want to see this pay-per-view? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everybody and their brother would want to see that pay-per-view and those matches. Like that.
Yeah.
That's literally a booking dream, what we just said right there. If they were listening, which I wish they would, that's the perfect, like, you want to have a night where you bring everybody back, do something like that. Put everybody accountable, make them all go up against the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be one pay-per-view that I would actually consider paying full price for.
Right? So really quick before we go, there's another thing. I don't know if you've been keeping up with it though. So one of the Paul brothers is going to fight in December. He's fighting Tyson Fury's little brother, Tommy Fury.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Fury. All right. But Logan Paul, the lesser of the fighters of the two, is slated to fight Tyson in February. Yeah, Logan Paul and Tyson. Let me tell you something. Logan Paul is the one that had trouble and got beat by Mayweather, right? He's going to get his head knocked down to his ass if he fights Tyson.
He's going to die.
Tyson,
he's literally going to die.
Tyson, like, apparently one of their matches had a clause where there were no knockouts. I don't know what that means. Hey, Kobe, way to go, buddy. Good job with the squeak thing. God damn it.
It's the end of the show. It's all right. Let him squeak all over the place.
But
a no
Mike
knockout
Tyson
clause?
they had a no knockout clause. Tyson would absolutely obliterate Logan Paul in minutes, because as big as Logan Paul is, much of an athlete as that kid is, he's never been hit by Mike Tyson. And the minute he gets hit by Mike Tyson and realizes, oh shit, what did I do? Like I'm in the ring and I'm about to get killed, because he'll hit you once in the side and he'll make you wish you've never put gloves on in your life.
Yeah.
So I hope that right now he's grabbing the squeaky thing and he's jumping on a garbage bag and he's losing the bone in the bag so that he can dig through the bag and keep squeaking the bone and just make as much noise and be as aggravating as he possibly can. Colby, you would be a heel. Yeah, no, that would be, it's going to be an obliteration. So, Joe, we didn't go over Raw, but we did get to do the Saudi show, Crown Jewel. I think what we're saying right now is the matches that we just proposed for Elimination Chamber matches is proof that there are so many stars in the WWE, but they don't know what they're doing with them.
Mm-hmm.
There could be the NXT Elimination Chamber match. Just NXT guys to start the show off for the NXT Championship. Bring it all together. Make one night of Elimination Chamber matches where it's just the greatest night of who's who and everybody just throwing down to see who's the best. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see people fight each other to prove who's the best. I want to get back to that. And I think you said it before. Factions are a good thing for something like that. You want to build, you want to create new stars like you're trying to, start a faction. That's how you get things going. It's true. That's a great way to do it. So, I don't know. I'm actually kind of excited about our Elimination Chamber thing. I think that would be maybe the biggest pay-per-view in the last couple of years if they could pull it off.
Yeah. I think we need to start making some phone calls, writing some
I was
letters.
just going to say that. Should we call Stanford, or should we just drive down there, me and you, and pitch them this? Like, cause
just drive down there.
Yeah, they need to hear this. I'll go right to the. We should go down there and film ourselves going to WWE and knocking on the door. And like, you can have like a briefcase with like paper sticking out of it, so it looks like we got all these ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that'd be great footage right there.
Yeah, it would.
All right.
We'd probably end up in the back of a paddy wagon.
That's true. Now, I haven't heard paddy wagon in a long time. Now you're gonna be there Sunday.
Yes, sir.
With me for the Paranormal.
Yep, I'll be the guy behind the camera when you're going live.
Or so, how was it last? Did you go to the first one?
No, I actually couldn't make last week. I had something pre-planned. So I have the worst short-term memory of all time. So when I agreed to go, I had completely forgotten that I'd already kind of booked myself something that night, so I had to back out kind of last minute, which sucked. So I'm going in blind as well, but I'm confident in the setup. So I think the episode of Paranormal or Legit Paranormal will probably be one of the better. In my opinion, it will be one of the best spooky or the more spookier episodes since we were at Varnum and got some fantastic live evidence.
Are you talking about the ship?
No, when it was me, Kevin, and Buddy at Varnum, and you guys did a live. Remember, we did a live EVP session,
and the
Spirit Box, and we got some legitimate, like real answers coming through, like intelligent responses to questions that you and Kevin had asked from a different location. It was crazy. I think it'll be a good time.
So basically, Sunday, we are going on Halloween night to Fort Adams.
Yes, sir.
Was an old Civil War type
like military base.
Military base. It's got a lot of tunnels, which I'm not a big fan of already, but everyone says that there's very creepy feelings down there and all this other stuff. I don't know what to expect, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, I don't know what it is that people expect to hear, see, or what. But that's kind of how I usually go into stuff. I'm just going to go and just see what's going on, and see if anything happens. I don't ever expect things to happen. But I got to be honest, everyone keeps hyping this place up. They really hype up Fort Adams as a place that's like, oh, you got to be there. Why? There's just an atmosphere. There's just something about it. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm picturing like a Fort Wetherill kind of setup. And if you've ever been to Fort Wetherill, I mean, it's this weird feeling there too. Like there's just a weird kind of aura and atmosphere to that place. And it's another type of old, it's right built into the cliffs down at Jamestown. They have like little machine gun nests. There's tunnels that go underneath. So I haven't been to Fort Adams. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to be in for a surprise, not to hype it because we could go there and have nothing happen, but I just have a feeling that we're going to probably see or experience something that maybe we don't actually want to.
Why? You think because it's Halloween night?
No, I just think that this place is more activity than any of us can be anticipating, and I think someone's going to have an experience. It might not be documented on Legit Paranormal. It might not be caught on camera. It might not be caught on DVR. I just think someone's probably going to experience something that they weren't expecting.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. Because the thing is with me, I don't really want to experience anything, but I hope something happens so that it's good for TV.
Yeah.
I honestly hope for something positive to happen, just because, or not negative, but just something that's newsworthy, because it's that's good stuff. I mean, do I want it to happen to me? No, but I'll tell you this much: I don't feel scared. I don't have any fear going into this, but I'm just more confused, I guess, as to what to expect. And have you ever heard a dog chew a squeaky bone that much for this long?
No,
unbelievable.
No, I mean, it's actually pretty impressive, the perseverance of your dog.
It sounds like it's built in, like it's not even like a dog doing it. It just sounds like it's a button that I keep hitting.
Yeah,
and I
you
won't
got
stop
sound
hitting. Fucking hey. All right, Joe, what do you got to say before we wrap it up?
We'll be at Fort Adams on Sunday. You'll see Joy Paranormal actually doing something paranormal for the first time in a while. We're gonna be doing Legit Paranormal, or I'll be helping shoot for Legit Paranormal, get pretty good video quality from the stream on location. I'll probably do like a spirit box or something. I don't know. We'll discuss when we get there. But I think a spirit box session live would be pretty cool. I've got some cool toys. I think it's gonna be a good time. So hope everyone tunes in.
I tell you, I hope everyone does tune in live Sunday night at 7:05 for that paranormal show. It's crazy how this the site, the www.legitpodcast.com, aka RIpodcast.com, aka Rhode Island podcast.com, unsignedpodcast.com. We got a million names. It's just crazy how it's been building, though. For example, this wrestling show has been drawing 30 to 50 people. per week.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's a good amount for two guys kind of just playing armchair GM.
Like coming out of the gate too. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, just like that, like it is. And the thing is, we don't even really promote ourselves. Like, we don't jump on everybody's like page and like promote our podcast, and we don't have anybody that does that for us. So it's all been kind of word of mouth. So between basketball, which started up again, football, wrestling, paranormal, like we got multiple shows on one channel, one website, and they've all been doing well, Joe. It's weird. They're all starting to slowly take off. We got like people in every show that are like money to whatever it is that they're talking about, whatever sport happens to be up. It's not like we have people like talking about sports they know nothing about. Kind of like when I was trying to host baseball for you guys. I don't know anything about baseball.
I missed that show.
Yeah. You and TJ just need to get a mouthpiece, because that's one thing, man. I couldn't even pronounce the names. It's like me doing hockey. I'd love to have a hockey show on this channel, but I'm not going to do it because I don't know it. I stick to my football, basketball, wrestling. Now, I got to figure out a way to get people to start hitting the like, subscribe button and leave comments, because that's how we get. Like, that's how you get put in the algorithms and it gets promoted that way.
You got to get the people going.
Yeah, when they watch the show, you got to hit the like button, right? You got to subscribe, and you have to leave a comment. I didn't realize how big comments were. That they really truly like affect the algorithm of where your show will like pop up in some people's feed. So if you guys can just leave us that's awesome, great show, nice job, King Mike, you're handsome, just anything that you would normally write, we just need that to help the show along.
Tell us we suck. I don't care.
And tell the truth, it's been a pleasure doing wrestling. Like,
yeah, it has.
It's very exciting wrestling. We both know what we're talking about. We both like wrestling. We both want it to succeed. So we're just spitballing ideas, and it's fun to do that. It's like armchair quarterback, but we're wrestling. Cool. I swear to God, buddy. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I got nothing else to say. We've got tomorrow we have football. I don't know if we're doing a basketball also, but I know we got football tomorrow night. Might be doubleheader with basketball. And then no show Friday, no show Saturday. Sunday's Halloween. We're going to Fort Adams. That's how it's going to wrap up, Joe. And by the way, in football, in the last 2 weeks, my picks against the spread, I am 21-4.
Damn.
In 2 weeks. I'm at an 84% clip of getting all the games right. So if there ever was a time for me to say, hey, pay attention to what I'm talking about when it comes to football, it's now. I've been in the zone. The spreads have been kind of like leading me in ways. Like just certain times I'll make it a point or two high to make you think like that's not going to happen. It's like, no, it's going to happen. So I'm having a good time. I don't know if you've ever had a streak where you can read the spreads more than you can actually read the games, and it's working. So that'll be tomorrow night. But so no last words right now, Joe, again?
Well, I mean, I gave my last words earlier. I don't have any last words.
So then, for Joey Paranormal, for me, Mike Lepre, King Michael, this was World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, The Wolf. We will see you again. Oh, got a comment. We will see you again next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. And we will see you tomorrow night for football. Thank you, guys. Talk to you.